Is it happening yet? It started. Yay. Okay. Well, everyone, as you come in, if you could put where you're hailing from, because I always find that to be interesting, um, especially since we have an entirely virtual audience today. So go ahead and put that in the chat. How are you today, Nikki, Regina? We were just, chatting it up. We were talking about the kinds of students we were. So that was interesting, but I don't feel like any surprises.
No, no surprises. I
No,
was
no.
an angel. My teachers never
Come out
wrote
lying. Come out lying. Like from the jump, just lies.
from the jump. I'm an unreliable narrator. I can't be trusted.
That's where you're in your mystery kind of thriller bag now, because
Yeah.
it makes sense. Because
Yeah.
unreliable narrator.
Unreliable narrator.
Completely.
Yeah. But now that
Ooh,
we're
hi.
live, like my mom could be watching. So I was like, I was a great student, of course.
She knows.
Yeah, I was a teacher, like, ooh, bow, bow, bow. Hello from Ohio. Hi, great to see you. Carrie, nice to see you, Carrie. Epiphany from Georgia, love
Wow.
it. Jamie from South Carolina. Hey, Kate from DC. Texas in the house. Shanika, love it. Richmond, Virginia. Oh, look at that. We got people from all over Houston,
Right, H-Town,
Gaithersburg.
stay down.
Okay. Don't give this one a reason to be hyped. Okay. Oh, hi, Jeanette from Austin. Y'all, Jeanette was my college advisor. No secrets in the chat. Erica, hello, good to see you. Oh, Talitha,
yeah.
hey, California. We got a whole smorgasbord of folks. Ooh, steamy lit.
Steamy
Yes.
lit, yes. We'll be there.
That is going to be so much fun.
Yes.
Okay, well, I want you guys to have as much time to chat and to get audience questions. Telling everyone that was so long ago. I know. But we both look great. We look great. Okay, so hi, everybody. My name is Destiny. I work at East City Bookshop. It's so great to have you. My colleague, Lainey Rose, is doing all the behind the scenes to make sure that this happens. So they're going to be putting some links to their books of both authors in the chat, so you could take a look at those. And we're so glad that you're here with us. We have tons of events. You can always check us out at eastcitybookshop.com, and almost all of our events, even in-store, are hybrid. So if you're far away and you're like, oh, I want to see Olivia Day and Mia Sosa talk tomorrow, you can. Or if you're like, I want to see Nikki Payne again in September, you can.
You can.
So you totally can. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. The only other note I will put for you guys is if you have questions for the authors, to put them in Q&A. And if you, as you've been doing with all your comments, love, adulation, you can just put that in the chat, but we don't want any questions to get lost. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce our authors today. First of all, we have Nikki Payne, who by day is a civic anthropologist, and who by night dreams of ways to subvert canon literature, and also how to put Zane in a milkmaid dress. I've added that to your title now.
Please add.
Hailed as incandescent by the Washington Post, Nikki Payne's debut novel, Pride and Protest, one of my favorites, was a phenomenal book club pick and was selected by the Library of Congress to represent the District of Columbia for the National Book Festival. Please give a huge round of applause to the one, the only, the incandescent Nikki Payne.
I don't like that word.
Oh, I do. I feel like that's a great descriptor. You know what I mean? They don't, Washington Post doesn't always get it right, but they got it right.
Let me tell you, I like that word.
There you go, right there. And the lady of the hour, Regina Black, is a former litigator, current law school administrator. I don't know how true that is anymore. You can tell us all. And lifelong romance reader who writes about art, identity, and love in the modern South. Her debut, The Art of Scandal, was named a Best Romance of 2023 by Publishers Weekly, Amazon, Audible, and the Chicago Public Library. August Lane is her second novel. It is incredible. I read it thinking, really, is this a sophomore novel? This is incredible. She lives in Little Rock, Arkansas, with her husband and daughter. Please welcome Regina Black. Yay! Come through, lawyers.
Hey, Susie.
All right.
All right. First of all, okay, now I have the reins. EC is really messed up. Okay. Because I am going to ask you, Regina, every single thing that I've always wanted to ask. But
Okay.
first, I want to get the important things out of the way.
Okay.
Just like beat for beat, what would you say this book is about? Because I want to explain it, but I only want to explain it like a Tyler Perry movie. You know what I mean? A hardworking woman, is working at a diner, and then a very handsome light-skinned man saves her. That's what I have.
It's
So you can do
accurate
better.
though. Okay. So basically, the plot premise is that you've got this one-hit wonder Black country singer who is singing in dive bars in Memphis, like roadside motels, whatever. And he's at the rock bottom of his career. He is a recovering alcoholic. He is sober right now. And he gets the chance to revitalize his career by opening for JoJo Lane. And JoJo Lane is a Black country singer from that was really famous in the 90s, early 2000s. And she is being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, which, side note, has not happened. A Black woman has not been inducted into that Hall of Fame yet. Um, and she wants him to open for her at her celebratory concert. But the catch is that it's in Arcadia, Arkansas, which is his hometown, which he has not been back to in like 13 years. And that is partially because August Lane lives there. And August Lane is JoJo's daughter. She is the person who actually wrote the song that he claimed as his own. And she is also his high school love that he has never gotten over.
Oh, the premise is so sweet. This this movie, I see it as a movie
Yeah.
in my head, but this book moved me so much. And when you talked about him moving and kind of going back to Arcadia, can you
Mhm.
drop us into Arcadia? Tell us about this place. And
Yeah.
why does it matter where they are?
So one of the things I wanted to do with this book was I wanted to write a book about Black people in rural South because
Mhm.
that's just not something you see very often in most pop culture. When we think of the South, there is this kind of stereotypical image of who's in a small town and who is in the South, and it is not us. And so I wanted to create this town that looks like towns that I've been to, I've lived in, that I know exist down here. And I think any Black person that lives in the South is like, yes, absolutely, these towns exist. So Arcadia specifically is kind of this mashup of my hometown, which is outside of Little Rock. It's in central Arkansas, and Helena. Um,
Mhm.
Down here, we call it Helena, West Helena. That's how we refer to it down here. And that is out near Memphis. It's East Arkansas, very much like the Black Belt. And that town is known for its music. It used to be called like the blues capital of the South, and there is a King Biscuit Blues Festival down there every year. And so that is the inspiration or the thought behind Arcadia. So that's kind of where I wanted to tell this love story.
Gorgeous. And you told a love story, but you also kind of wrote a song.
I
Can we talk a
did.
little bit about the craft of this book and
Yeah.
how you kind of put this book together?
Yeah, so that was fun. It kind of came together eventually. So the characters came first. For me, the characters always come first. And then after I figured out who they were, I started writing their story, and I realized I wanted to introduce all of these themes from country music.
Mhm.
So, because I had done all this research on the genre, and so I said, well, I want this to feel like a country song, like the storytelling that happens in country songs. Because country songs are very much known for those storytelling songs, right?
Mhm.
And so I knew I wanted to kind of capture that feeling in this book. And so the more when I sat down to write it, actually it hit me. I'm like, this is a country song. Like that's what I'm writing. I'm writing a black country song. And so that gave me the idea to divide the book up into the parts of a song. So each part of the book are like parts of the song. They're the intro, the first verse, the bridge, like that sort of thing. So yeah, that just kind of organically kind of happened. I had a lot of oh, that's what I'm doing moments. So
It was so organic, and it's just
yeah,
incredibly clever, right?
thank
Because
you.
not only is the book set up that way, but the structure of like what happens in the book is
Hmm.
also set up that way. A
Yeah,
bridge. Do you know what I
yes,
mean? Like those.
yeah.
So I just that's incredibly clever. But you said something also that was really interesting. Is that was like characters come first, and I
Hmm.
want to get into characters. Baby, August, August. Let me get into her because
Yeah,
she grabs us from the very beginning. From the
yeah.
very beginning, she grabs us. Can you tell me how you built her? How did August come about? And if these are too many questions, like these are too many questions. But like after you talk about like how you built her, like what did you need people to get from this character from August?
Yeah, she was probably the hardest female woman character that I've created. She was a lot. I struggle with her. You know I struggle with her
Yeah.
because you had to listen to me complain about it. Like trying to kind of figure her out. For a while, I wasn't sure I liked her that much, and then I had to sit with why. Like, why don't I like August? What is missing from her? And I think it was, I knew kind of the personality that I was giving her, but I didn't understand why she was this way. Because she's frustrating. But I mean, to be fair, all my characters are frustrating. So she, that was, that was me. But she was frustrating in a way that it actually took a minute for me to understand. And I felt like with August, I did want to kind of represent this person that was in this small town and had gotten stuck there and how that happens because it happens for a lot of people. But I kept kind of looking at her and thinking like, why? Like, why are you like this? What, why? And it clicked for me when I figured out, oh, she just really wants to be loved. That's what she wants more than anything in the world because, August was born to a woman or a teenager at the time that did not want to be a mother. And August is very much aware of the circumstances of her birth, that she was not wanted, that she is the result of her mother's biggest trauma, that she is the reason why JoJo, her mother, is no longer living there, lost her crown. Everyone in town kind of that's what they associate with her. So this is the light. This is what she has grown up under. This is her existence, and which makes her really susceptible to like men who are kind to her or show her affection because deep down she just really wants to be loved, but she also knows that that's dangerous for her, and so she just kind of has this really prickly hard shell that she carries around with her because she's like, everyone's gonna reject me eventually and I'm just gonna do it before they even have the opportunity. So she's one of those people. So
I was crying about August
yeah,
from the beginning of the book nearly to the end. And there's some instances where I'm like, I don't even know if this is supposed to be sad, but this hit me. Like those things that desire to be seen, to be
yeah,
loved, and in some instances to know that it can't come from the places that you would expect,
yeah.
is so gut wrenching. And it's really beautifully rendered, in the
Yeah.
book.
Well, thank you. I mean, August is one of those characters. I mean, there's certain points in the book, and I don't want to spoil it too much, where you do kind of peel back and you really see like what she's carrying and kind of the questions that she carries around with her about just herself and why she's here. And she's constantly trying to justify her existence to her mother when she's younger, and then she kind of slowly lets that go. And she just generally tries to justify her existence to the world, to herself. And so that is such a sad thing, particularly for someone to carry around as a child, but to also carry that into adulthood. She's just, yeah, I mean, yeah, she made me cry a few times. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you did a tricky little thing.
mm,
Um, let's talk about it because you know what you did. You made the romance girlies fall for a flawed hero. How dare you? Okay? How dare you? Let's talk about
yeah,
Luke and let's talk about Luke and crafting him and why I just fell for. I knew he'd done a bad thing,
yeah.
and for some reason, I was in it. I was 10 toes down, 2 pages in. Am I a simp? Did you make me a simp? Can we talk about that?
I
Okay.
mean, look, I love a sad man,
Yeah.
and like Luke to me is just a really kind of melancholy person who who's very soft in some ways, but also like, hard in others. I don't know. He's just kind of like the type of hero that I love to write. So some of that came out because,
Yeah.
I love me a like big kind of brawly sad man. That's my thing. Um, but also with Luke, like when I developed, Luke was the character that came to me like almost immediately. He
Yeah.
was so easy to write to for me to understand because all I had to do was think like I gave him this origin story, this premise, right?
Mhm.
This is a
Mhm.
guy who down to his core is a good person who did this terrible thing to the person he loved most in the world. What
Yeah.
does that do to somebody?
Yeah.
And the whole book just kind of started with like, what does it do to a person to have the only song anyone wants them to sing? Their greatest success came from the biggest regret that they had in their entire life. And they just keep singing it. And my first thought is like, you are stuck there, right? You're never leaving. You are stuck with that moment, you're stuck with that betrayal, but you're also stuck with that love. Like it never goes away, which is why he's been pining for August Lane for 13 years, because he never left that small town.
Mm. Mm. Okay, something that you said, like I just had like this light bulb moment. You said Luke was so like easy to write, and I also feel like I know authors talk about their creations like they're real people,
Mhm.
but Luke wants to be, he's a people please, like you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like he came into your hands because he wanted
yes.
to be in your hands. You know what I mean?
He's
Like
very much a people pleaser.
exactly,
I want to
exactly.
be liked and understood.
And understood, right? And I love the fact that he came to you the easiest because he lent himself to that. And
Yeah.
August also did the thing that August does, which is just like, hold up, sport,
Yeah.
hold up. We ain't that tight. You know what I
You
mean?
know what? I never thought of that, but you are absolutely right. Like the character that does not want to be known was the hardest for me to know.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
character that is just like a little bit like you said, like a people pleaser, like
yeah,
look at me, like me,
yeah.
please, easy. Like I
Easy.
got him. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I love that. Um, Okay, so I want to get into like a little bit of how you did your research, right? So, Regina, like you wake up in the morning, like you stretch, you look in the mirror, like you're black, you're country, you're from a small town. Did this book just come out of the side of your head? You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
that
tell
would
me,
be so wonderful.
tell me how
No.
you found out about like the country music scene and how you immersed yourself in that.
Yeah. So the book, part of the inspiration for the book was I listened to Reese Palmer's radio show, Color Me Country.
Mm,
And if you haven't listened to that, everybody needs to listen to that radio show. It's fantastic. She's doing great work. She also financially supports up and coming country singers of color
mm,
too through her nonprofit. So everybody go
mm,
check that out. It's called Color Me Country. Um, I was listening to her radio show and I was just being exposed to all these singers that I'd never heard of. And so that kind of pushed me to say, like, I actually really wanted to write about this. So I started looking at like Rolling Stone articles, that sort of thing. And that kind of led me to two books that I recommend. One is Black Country. It's called Black Country Listening for Evolutions by Francesca Royster. That book is absolutely brilliant. It's a bunch of gorgeous essays and it goes through the history of country music from like the banjo origins in Africa to now, like there's beautiful essays on Darius Rucker and Tina Turner. It's an
Wow.
amazing book. And then My Black Country by Alice Randall. A lot of people don't know about that book. Alice Randall is the author of The Wind Done Gone. She also
Mm,
used to be a country music songwriter. She worked in Nashville for years.
mhm.
And she wrote a lot of songs that a lot of people know and didn't realize she wrote them. And she wrote a memoir, and that came out like a year or two ago. So that's really good. Those are two books. I watched a lot of documentaries.
Mhm.
I listened to a lot of country music. Like I reached out to three women country singers, Black women country singers. I
Yeah.
interviewed them. I interviewed Dr. Francesca Royster, the author of My Black Country. Yeah, I did a whole lot of research to kind of capture the story I was telling and like the voice of the people in it. And, JoJo in particular is a result of me having those conversations with those women that are actually living this. They are singing, they are in this genre, they are trying to be noticed in a genre that quickly overlooks them. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. I mean, we're going to get to JoJo, who I absolutely love. But before we dive into that complex woman and like the structure even of that story of just like
Mhm.
dropping this other piece of media within the media that we're reading,
Mhm.
I I do want to talk broadly about some of the themes that you
Yeah.
like touched on. To me, when
Mhm.
I read this, like I closed the book and say, and I thought like, you know what? I should forgive that person. Or, or like,
Yeah.
or I'm thinking about like sometimes the way that we are, that we grow up around people but feel so completely isolated that we
Hmm.
can be in a house full of people and still feel like there is no one there, no one for you. And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, those are the broad themes um,
Hmm.
that I picked up there. And I'm just wondering if you want to speak to those or if there's some other themes that you also kind of teased out.
Yeah, I think that isolation part, that loneliness thing, both of them are very lonely. And I feel like that was more of like a subconscious theme that I wrote in because I was writing this small town story.
Yeah.
And anyone who's lived in a small town for any, like, it's a small town, there's just not that many people there. So finding your people is actually difficult because, if there's only a few thousand people, there's a good chance your person isn't even there.
Yeah.
So. I do feel like if you're in any way like different or you have this different, and with August being, a country fan, that sort of thing, it's a very lonely thing to be a Black country fan.
Yeah.
And it's because we don't actually talk about it. I mean, we talk about it now, like thank you, Beyonce, right? But before
Sure.
that happened, we weren't really talking about it, but we were always out there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you would even have people that say, I hate country music, except fancy. That doesn't
Yeah.
count. Like,
It does not count.
it does, and in that feeling when you find somebody else that loves, the chicks, the Dixie chicks like you do, right? And they look like you. And
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to capture in like this love story
Yeah.
of them finding each other in that small town, which is like unlikely. That's probably the escapist part of this book. The other themes that you touched on, forgiveness, that's a huge theme. And
Hmm.
I really wanted to show different types of forgiveness in this book and how
Yeah.
it doesn't always look the same. But there is this belief that I have about forgiveness. And, when you're a writer, what you think your take on the world is always going to come out of your book. Like it's always going to be there. So everyone that says writing books, romance isn't political, writing isn't political, every time you sit down to write a book, you are putting kind of your view of the world in those pages, right? And
Exactly.
so my take on forgiveness has always been that forgiveness is something we do because we need it, not necessarily because the other person needs it. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of in a nutshell what this book is about. It has to do with how not being able to forgive or not having the opportunity to forgive someone, in August's case, because he ran,
Mm-hmm.
um, how it keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck there right at that place where you got hurt, right? Or right at that place where that person hurt you, or you hurt that person and you cannot move on. It's like you are trapped. And that is represented in August by the fact that she's trapped in this town. And it's represented by Luke in the fact that he has to sing this same song over and over and over again. And neither one of them is really able to move on with their lives until they confront those hurts, forgive, and move on. And with them, those two, it's a forgiveness that allows them to love each other freely because they never stopped, right? And it's like, oh, you get to do this now. You don't have to hold back or hide it or stay where you are, right? And with August and JoJo, it's August kind of letting go of all of those feelings about her mother and being abandoned and saying, you know what, this happened, but I don't have to stay here waiting for you to accept me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to wait for you to deserve to exist and for you to acknowledge me as your daughter. I can actually just let that go, right? And move forward. And that's what she does. And with Luke and his mom, that is a version of it where I wanted it to be. I don't have to stay. He
Yeah.
really, that forgiveness is him forgiving himself,
Yeah.
not just for like what he did to August, but also like forgiving that little boy living in that house and being a victim of abuse and saying it's not your fault,
Oh,
you
and
know,
she,
like finally. And then he can finally leave that house because he never really left that house, not when he was stuck there. And
exactly.
so, yeah, so I mean, forgiveness is like the primary theme.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is visibility. Uh,
Uh,
JoJo has a song called Invisible that she wrote about being a Black woman in country music. And I wanted to kind of write that explicitly, but also implicitly in the fact that I was like kind of giving visibility to these types of characters, which I kind of felt have been kind of invisible when it comes to small town narratives and small town romance. So, yeah.
I mean, let's get into JoJo. This is my last question, and then we have a little game, and then I want to open it up for everyone else to ask Regina as many questions as you'd like. Let's talk about JoJo, who
Yeah.
I could you stop trying to make me hate JoJo, okay? Because I loved her. I loved JoJo. Like I protect JoJo's rights and her wrongs.
Yes.
She was so complex. She was such a gorgeous artist. And I'm
Yeah.
just wondering about like um just according to you, like did did JoJo what do you think JoJo owed August? Again, I don't want to give too much away, but I do want to get into this sense of like um what you owe someone as a mother
Mhm.
and what happens when that sense of obligation isn't there, you know?
Yeah. So JoJo was I she was probably the character I enjoyed writing the most.
Mm,
Um so her drive and her ambition is one of the reasons why I think we love her, right?
mhm,
Because she is so
mhm.
unapologetic about who she is. She is
Yep,
like, I am a country singer. I want to sing. I deserve these awards. She is no nonsense about that. And she is very
yeah,
kind of like clear-eyed about the
mhm,
world and in the world she's in particular,
yeah,
right? But that clarity came from like her kind of giving up on this sort of dreams and passions that
mhm,
drive August. She gave
yep,
that up. And so when it comes to what JoJo owes August, I wanted to write about someone who is a mother that did not want to be a mother but loves her daughter, right?
yeah,
And not
yeah,
only did she not want to be a mother, it was forced on her by
mhm,
people she trusted and her mother, who she loved. I wanted to write about that and like what that does not just to August, but also what that does to JoJo.
yeah, yeah,
And JoJo's struggles to be a mother to her daughter because her daughter is her biggest trauma, right? And
Wow.
so what JoJo would love is just to be able to deal with August without August looking back at her and knowing the truth, knowing everything that happened to her, right? And so when August tries to earn her mother's love, her mother knows exactly what August is doing. And it just reminds her of why she's trying to earn her love, which
Mm,
takes her back there. And so that's why she avoids August. You know, it's this cycle. So to answer your question, like, what is JoJo owe August? I think it's complicated because even though she didn't want to be a mother, she is. And
mhm.
August never didn't ask to be born, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so as a mom, there's this obligation we have to these young people when young people look to their parents for
Mm.
to make the world make sense. And JoJo just didn't do that for August. She did not make the world make sense for August. And I think August slowly, as she gets older, kind of picks up on the fact that I've gotten nothing from this person who should have taken care of me. So, yeah, I think it's just really complicated, which is why to me, she was kind of really interesting to write. So,
She was she was fantastic to read
yeah,
and amazing to experience.
thank you.
Um, I have a little game for you and for the people in the chat, if you're so brave. Regina thinks she knows so much
I
about.
really don't.
I have a test for you, and the name of this test is it a country song or the 6 o'clock news? And you have to indicate whether you think something is a country song or the news. No
Okay.
judgment if you don't get it right, but like personally, like I will judge you, but none of the people in the chat. Okay.
Like, can I just say I love the rose on the boots over here?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's just you know how I do a touch of class in here.
Yes.
So the rules are you're gonna tell us if the headlines are real news or a country song, and you all can follow along in the chat, give your guesses, help her out. But I feel like maybe these will be pretty simple. Okay. Um, and I can't see this chat since I'm screen sharing. So Regina, if you need help, you can
Okay.
always
I
do the
I
chat.
put the chat. Okay. I can see the
Okay.
chat now. All right.
Okay. Okay, now, um, tractors. We have 4 themes, okay? And they're country specific. So the first one is town divided after man paints water tower for love of his life in John Deere Green. Or family dog drives tractor onto highway causes traffic jam. Which one is a real news and which one is a country song?
Uh, I think I agree, Ellie. I think the dog is real and the John Deere water tower is the country song.
Oh, well, well, well. You are correct. You are correct. Has anyone ever heard that song? In John Deere Green. You're welcome. Google it. Google it.
I'm
It's a
gonna have to
jam.
Google it,
It's a
but
bop.
yes.
It's a bop. Okay. Next in our country lexicon, right? We have trucks. Okay. Now, the first one. A young boy drives F-150 into Little Caesars on a joyride. A young woman vandalizes pickup truck on suspicion of infidelity.
Vandalizing the pickup truck is the country song.
Okay.
And the other one, the Little Caesars, is a news story.
Well, well. You've been trained. You've been trained
I
well.
already knew what song that was.
Okay. 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 So this happened in Oklahoma. A little boy literally just drove his dad's truck into the Little Caesars, and just a day in the life of living in the country. Okay. Next category is dogs. You're doing great. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Yeah, look.
Next category is dogs. First one, heroic dog leads stranger to unconscious couple, saves lives. Next one is beloved family dog passes after lifelong bond. Boy stays by Shep side until the end.
I think the dog dying is the country song.
Oh, well, 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 well. Ma'am, you've been here before. Okay. You've been here before. Because it would be all right, Johnny Cash classic old ship.
Yes.
Classic old ship. And dog heroically leads stranger to two unconscious people is real news.
Yeah. I told you, I studied the themes. I
Yeah.
know. Like,
You know, like honestly, you can't be beat, actually. Um the last one is Heartbreak, another country theme.
mm.
Pop star declares she has given up on marriage after heartbreak. And local woman declares she's finished with dating, this time for real.
Oh, this one's hard. Those are similar.
Yeah, they are.
Uh, Marriage is a song. Okay. Alex says marriage is a song. They sound right. They sound the same.
Uh-huh.
Local woman sounds like a headline. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Okay.
let's go with pop star. The pop star is the song.
Well, well, well. Undone by J-Lo.
Oh God. I knew it would be her.
J-Lo. J-Lo says, declares she is done with marriage. After
Oh, she ruins everything.
and Jody Messina declares she is done with love as well.
Oh
And
man.
that is classic. And how many did you get right? You got 3 out of 4. Like
I did.
you're a
I
country
did.
star.
I was up against J-Lo, so.
Yeah, honestly, J-Lo can confuse us all. Okay. Okay, you did amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now let's open it up to questions. I'm gonna click Q&A. Oh, look, I
Okay.
did it right. I know things. Okay, so do you want to answer these questions directly, or do you want me to like read them to you like a host?
Read them to me like the host you
Let me
are.
let me go.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what would be on an August Lane playlist? Hey Elizabeth.
Well, I happen to have an August Lane playlist.
Do you?
If you are follow me on Instagram, Regina Black Writes. I have a link to it in my bio. Like I have a whole playlist, and I'm just talking a lot, so I can actually bring it up to answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
So August Lane, Carolina Chocolate Drops had to be on there because they're fantastic, and I've been listening to them forever and ever. Love them. Um, Amethyst Kia, Black Myself, love that song. I had to put some Shabuzi on there.
Yes.
Good News. If you listen to Good News by Shabuzi, it just sounds like Luke wrote that song. My Church by Maren Morris. If you haven't listened to Maren Morris, I love Maren Morris for many reasons, but My Church is phenomenal. Close My Eyes by Mariah Carey. That is an underrated song. So see
Okay.
that. Gosh, I can't list all of them. The last one I want to mention is Dumb Luck by the War and Treaty. And if you're not listening to the War and Treaty, you need to listen to them now. And I always tell people that it's a married couple and that the woman is she sang Joyful, Joyful in Sister Act with Lauryn Hill. Oh,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Just yes, I love it. The Spotify list is in the chat.
Oh, fantastic. Because this actually feeds into the other question. What are some
Yes.
current Black country artists that you love? I feel like you
Yeah.
just kind of answered that.
Yeah. So Warren Treaty, definitely. Brittany Spencer is amazing. Amethyst Kia. I also, oh gosh. Where is she? She sings Night Flyer. Allison Russell
Mm,
is great. And then Reese Palmer, of course, love her. Those are just a few, just right off the top of my head.
okay, okay. Um, an anonymous attendee, very suspicious, I love it, says, you always research your book so thoroughly. Do you have a list of the media you want to read, watch, listen to, and interview you want to conduct once you have your story concept down? Or is it a kind of process as you dig into a podcast, book, etc.?
So I do two different types of research for my book. So I do the research on the front end when I'm trying to solidify the story, like figure out what I'm writing about. Because I usually have some sort of topic that I'm interested in. And so I will kind of do some general research around that topic to kind of nail down what aspect of the topic is interesting to
Yeah.
me, right? And then once I do that, I start writing, outlining and writing and drafting, and I do the really specific research after I've already either started drafting and have a good chunk done, or I've drafted the whole thing. Because if you're a writer and you're like thinking about researching something, a topic like, writing about something that you don't do, which apparently is my specialty, because I haven't written a lawyer ever.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to do that, a lot of times it can feel overwhelming. And if you just research and research on the front end, you end up like with a bunch of information that's interesting, but you're not going to use all of it. So I usually try to research just enough to kind of solidify, okay, this is the story I want to tell.
Mhm.
And then, yes, because lawyers want to escape. We don't want to talk about it. And then once I know kind of what's happening in the book, then you can research those specific aspects and those specific pieces of the book that you need to. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic.
mhm.
Another question is, do you have any tricks to dig into those characters that don't want to make themselves known to you?
Um, there's this one thing that I like to do. I do the interviewing your character. It's a version of interviewing your character, but it's I ask them what do they want. I stole this from the emotional craft of fiction.
Mhm.
Um, there's this exercise he recommends doing where like asking your character what do they really want and what's something they want to say or do that I'm not letting them do.
Ah.
And I did that. I actually struggled with Nathan in the Art of Scandal, and I wrote that and did that exercise with him, and it really unlocked him as a character to me. Um, and with him, it was just kind of like in his core, he was a lot nicer than I thought he was.
Yeah.
And then with August, I did something similar with her. And once I did that, I was like, oh, she just wants to be loved. It's
Mhm.
so yeah, like figuring out like what your character wants, and if you're struggling with them, kind of like if particularly if you're already writing them and
Yeah.
you're struggling, kind of like pushing back on what you've established for that character and like saying what, allowing yourself to say, well, what if I let them lie? Or what if I let them tell the truth? Or what would they do? So, anyway,
Love it.
yeah.
Um, the audience wants to know, burning question, who's on your shirt, girl?
Oh, you know who this is. Stop.
I don't listen. Alicia says she must know. I'm speaking
Yeah,
to Alicia. Okay.
it's the queen. It's Beyonce. Courtesy. Oh, she said, only see the hat. Yeah, no, it's Beyonce, courtesy of Nikki Payne. So, because I was not able to go to any of the concerts this year, so which I'm sad about.
More questions. What was it like writing lyrics into the story? Did writing songs for your characters' perspectives help you discover anything new about them?
It was so awful. Like, um, it was my least favorite part. I'm not gonna lie. And I always tell the story about how like when I first at first I told myself I didn't have to write songs. I could just fake it. And then as I started writing, I was like, that's not gonna work. These are singer-songwriters. And then I tried and they were bad. And so I told my editor, like, do not give me notes on these. Like, I was very adamant in my email, like, don't critique these at all. And she did not. And I will always love her for that. And then I just kind of studied, I read a lot of country songs and started like really studying songwriting. I actually read books about songwriting, which was kind of cool. Um, but what really unlocked it for me was figuring out that these are book songs, like no one's ever going to hear these songs.
Yeah.
And so once I started thinking them as like, okay, this is just like prose, but it rhymes and it has rhythm. I know that sounds like a poem, but just go with
Yeah, yeah.
it. This was my mental process. Because if I was like, I gotta write poems, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Mhm.
So That's what I told myself. So I just kind of approached it the same way I was approaching all the rest of my writing. And so I pulled in themes that I was working with and character and really wrote them with the voice of the character. The last song in particular that's in the book that shows up in the book is very much like a reflection of what they've been through and like who they are. So once I was able to bring that stuff in, that's kind of when everything clicked. So.
Oh, right. Carla wants to know if you happen to get a movie or TV adaptation, who would your dream cast be for August Lane?
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. It's like they have to be able to sing and like trying to narrow down the like who's the right age, who can sing, who can act. That's hard.
Yeah.
So I feel like let me make sure I'm terrible with names. Coco Jones, did I get
Oh,
that right?
gorgeous. Yeah.
She's August. Yes, that is who I think of. Like, if someone were like, "Who would you cast as August?" I think she would be perfect. She
Yeah.
sounds like her voice is like this really
Yeah.
powerful voice.
Yeah.
For Luke, Aaron Pierre, he probably can't sing, but
Yeah.
we don't care.
Yeah. Mm. Aaron Pierre on a horse? Say less.
There you go.
That's Mufasa.
There's no horse in the book, Nikki.
Listen, they will put a horse in that movie, though. That's for damn sure. If I have anything to do with it, I'm just going to put myself a production designer and just say, and he needs a horse.
A whole other storyline.
Whole other storyline. He has a horse farm. I swear to God. In the rain. A horse in the rain.
With no shirt on.
With no shirt. He has to be racing to the airport in a horse, on a horse. Okay? I don't make the rules. Okay?
Yes. Go ahead. No. Next question.
Nikki wants to know, what was your favorite scene to write?
My favorite scene was probably I don't want to spoil it too much.
Okay, give us
I don't
some brushstrokes.
My favorite scene pretty much in all my books is the midpoint because the way I plot is from the middle. That middle of the book, there's some sort of big transition change happens. The characters have this big revelation, right? And so in August Lane, there is a scene where August and Luke are the most honest with each other that they have been up until that point. August tells Luke exactly what he did to her in a way that she had held back before then. And Luke tells August exactly what it's been like for him in a way he's been holding back. And like that scene was one of the first moments that I envisioned when I was writing the book. So,
Gorgeous.
Regine, she
Gorgeous.
just hit that. She knows what I'm talking about, Regine.
Okay, Erica has some hard-hitting questions that honestly we all need to know. The first question is, what's next for you book-wise? And also the big question is, will we get that sequel to Art Scandal for Joe and Mia? Joe and Mia.
Oh, man. Okay. I next, like, I can't say a lot about
Yes.
I can't say a lot about what I'm working on next because it's still in really early stages. It's more in like kind of the research, plotting, development stage. It's definitely set in the South. It's definitely going to be dealing with some of the themes that I'm dealing with. All I will say is that it's a marriage. This is the only time I said it's a marriage in trouble book, but it's a kind of a different take on it than we've seen, and that's all I will say. And then Joe and Mia.
Joe and Mia. Come on, get the people what they want.
I always say, like with Joe and Mia, I would love to do a Joe and Mia book. If someone would buy it from me. Yes.
I will buy it. I
Okay.
will personally purchase
Commission
it.
it.
Yeah.
Kickstarter of one.
If you can take my tens of dollars, please have it. Okay.
I'll put you on layaway plan.
Please do. Please
No.
do. Okay, Kayla. Hey, Kayla from the Reading Black Girls is she
Mm.
is here. She's in the house, and she's saying, "Oh, the Reading Black Girls about to get deep." So let me get my serious glasses on. In this period of resurgence and reclaiming of lost forms of Black art, music, and history, what aspect of this book was most important for you to write? Come on, Kayla, come through.
Oh gosh. I don't know. Like, there's so much of it. Like, I mean, I'll go back to JoJo because I really do think putting JoJo's podcast interview in there was important to me because I didn't want the book to read like I was like preaching or teaching or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. But I also didn't want to not have something in there that really truly spoke to the experience of these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really important to me to have that component in there. It was also important to me to kind of have like represent not just like country music, but the fact that all these genres are all come from us in some way. So blues, rock,
Yeah.
country, and all of that kind of mingles together. And that's what Delta Blues. So there's a bar club in the book called Delta Blue. And that's one of the roles that Delta Blue plays in the story because I wanted it to kind of represent like that place where our artistry would just flourish and like the mixture and like how, Silas has this collage of all the people that have come through there and played there and how Luke is just educated and his eyes are opened by like, oh my gosh, this whole history is here and I didn't know. So Luke is kind of like me in that instance, like finding out Linda Martell exists and things like that.
Yeah.
And I really kind of wanted, and there is a scene August has with David Henry, JoJo's manager, where she confronts him about how he's moved in these spaces. And I really wanted to depict kind of very clearly kind of him being confronted with that
Yeah.
and his complicity in how invisible JoJo's been and how and that sort of thing. So yeah, I could talk about that. I know we're running out of time. I could talk about that forever.
We have about 8 minutes, and we have enough questions for the 8 minutes, so we
Okay.
can let it flow. So anonymous attendee says, "I'm sure this book has been a long time coming. How do you feel about the current surge in conversation about country music, especially Black folks' contribution?" You honestly probably just answered this a little bit. Do you feel it's authentic or bandwagoning off Beyonce?
I think it's most of it, I'd say about like 90% of it is authentic. I really do, because I do think there's a lot more of us that actually loves this music than we know. Um, I love that the current conversation is us talking to each other because I feel like that doesn't was not happening. Like,
Yeah.
I went to the Chicks had a concert here a few years, like
Mhm.
5 years ago or whatever. And I went, my sister and I went, and it was just us
Yeah.
and like a bunch of white people. And we knew more of the songs than everybody else did.
Of course. Of course.
Um, but it used to be like if you were a fan, you ended up talking to white country fans
Yeah.
about liking country music.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we're talking to each other for the first time.
Yeah.
And that is really exciting to me. And we're finding each other and forming these, like, we're bonding over it.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing so many people that are from the South
Yes.
very loud and proud about wearing their boots and putting their cowboy
Yeah.
hats on.
Yeah.
That is a level of joy in finding our people that I don't know if I ever thought I'd see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So I think a lot of it is genuine. I do. Um, I think 5% is I like the clothes.
Hmm.
I mean, it
Hmm.
really does look good,
Yeah.
and once Act Three comes out, like, some people will move on. But I really think that there's been a lasting impression and a lasting introduction to what this could look like if
Hmm.
country was more diverse.
Mm.
And I don't think you can change that. I don't think we're going back from that at this point. So,
Gorgeous. Soraya says, hey, I know spice levels are subjective. How spicy is August Lane? Okay, get it, girl. Get into it. She say, what's gonna happen to my body when I read this? Okay.
I feel like I'm not the person to answer this. Because I do think spice level is so subjective to everybody. I don't, are we talking chili peppers? Like,
Yeah, let's give it a chili pepper scale. To me, the longing makes it hot. So
yeah,
if you long and then you can like hold a hand, to me, I'm just like, I died, you know? But it depends.
yeah, maybe what two? I would say, would you agree? I would say maybe two. Like,
I would
it's go.
My chili pepper scale is broken because like I said, I love longing. I love how
Yeah,
much they want to do it, and to me that makes it hot. So
yeah.
I feel like there's a little extra chili pepper.
I mean, it's definitely open door. Like, there's no
Yeah,
question to that. But I mean,
yeah,
it's very slow burn because it took me forever to get these two people to the place where I
yeah.
felt realistically they would do it. So if you hate slow burns, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But
Call us over me. She's like, you can tell Nikki writes Jane Austen. Guilty girl, guilty, because I will make you burn for it. Okay. No, Ayoka says, as writers, we have our favorite characters. Is August your favorite character?
no. Um, no. I think my favorite character is probably Joe from the Artist Kindle still to this
Mm.
day. But you know what? That may be because I never got to write his book. Like, I still have that. And so, but all my characters, I would say, particularly my main characters, someone asked me like, which one would you hang out with? And my answer is always none of them
Mm.
until they have completed their character arc. But
Yeah,
at the beginning of the book, none of them.
yeah. At the front, zero, zero. Yeah.
Zero. But they get it together at the end. It's like, okay, we can hang out now.
Elizabeth wants to know what is happening with the Art of Scandal adaptation.
Oh, I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. I mean, that's the way TV is.
Yeah,
Like
they keep
it's
us
often,
completely.
yes. Like they keep us completely in the dark, so I have no idea.
And lastly, anonymous attendee says, do you have any tips for people writing their first novels? How did you know your novel was ready for others to read? How do you balance taking feedback but also not straying away from the story you wanted to tell? And this will be the last question.
Um, I feel like, okay, let me think how I want to answer that question because I really think one of the most important things to do if you're a writer is to kind of figure out what kind of reader that you're writing for. Like if there was this perfect reader in your head as someone that you handed your book to, and they, you know, you wanted that person to love it because you
Hmm.
know their taste or you really respect their opinion.
Hmm.
Um, and so you have to figure out who that person is for you. And
Hmm.
then that's the person you give it to, right? And if you've been working on it, you've been revising it, and then you give it to that person and they look at you and say you nailed it, then I
Hmm.
think you're done. Like that's kind of how I think of it. My person, I have two people right now. One of them is my twin because she thinks like me, but she's way more objective. And I know she
Hmm.
told me she my favorite notes she gives me are, I know what you were trying to do here and you didn't do it.
Hmm.
Or I know what you're trying to do here and you nailed it. So you've got to find that person, right? And it's the person that you want to please. And so that's one thing. And I don't know. I feel like you're ready when like you sit back and you're like, this book really actually represents the story I wanted to tell.
Hmm.
Like if you're writing and you're like, no, this is missing something. No, I'm not happy with this. You're not done. And you have to figure out, okay, how do I tackle this thing that it's missing? So, but I mean, if you lean back and you go, oh, that's actually what I think I wanted it to be, then you're ready to give it to like your perfect reader to read and get feedback. So,
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank all of you.
Yes. You know, you were my other perfect reader, so.
Well, huge round of applause to both of you. Thank you so much. That conversation was absolutely wonderful. Fantastic questions. Great audience. I think, yeah, Lainey Rose already put in the chat. You can, as I mentioned before, you can see Nikki Payne again if you're in the DC area. And even if you're not online, because
Online.
the event for Princess and the PI. If you haven't gotten your copy of August Lane, what are you doing? Question mark, question mark, question
Hurry
mark.
up.
Remedy that post haste. And otherwise, have a beautiful evening. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye now.